Hello, Spellslingers. Recently, we managed to hit 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube, so that is an awesome achievement. And so I'm going to go ahead and do a deck profile video for the recent deck that I played, Strahd OTK Ramp with Vivien. First, the very important card is the land, which is Woodland Hermitage, which we are choosing over the other lands, which would be Gaia's Cradle, because we want a creature. We pretty much want a creature off of it. The Cradle could allow us to win potentially earlier, but once we're locked out and we have no field, then we don't really have a good way to win. So we'd be out to like Day of Judgment or Lava Wave. So Woodland Hermitage is definitely the land for this particular deck. We are running Circle of the Druid, which, gives you a 3/2 wolf. It heals 2, shuffles a card that gives you a mana gem. It gives a creature +1/+1, and then gives you the wild shape Brontosaurus, which is a big thing that takes the damage for you instead of your health. We are running it because we need as much mana as possible. We are running it mainly for the Bark Hide Growth effect here. We have a bunch of other ramp effects in here to pretty much try and get as much mana as we can. And the plan is, of course, to, use Strahd, Lord of Ravenloft, with haste to insta-kill our opponents. Though, as you saw in the videos, there is other ways to do the same thing, like giving him sneak. We have Bird's Paradise, very simple, 0/1 for 1, gives you a mana gem, has flying. It's a good blocker for flying, and it's green. So it doesn't require any other of our colored mana creatures. And of course, more importantly, it's the ramp. Animal Arrow is part of the reason to actually run this deck with Vivien. You draft a creature from your deck and give it a random upgrade. So because the card was changed so that you get to pick the creature, you have a higher odds of getting a creature you want, and then depending on the upgrade, it can be very useful. Then we have Treetop Lookout. We want our opponent's traps to not be active when we're going for combo, so it's an easy 2-of. Disarms all our opponent's traps. And of course, it's a 3/3 for 2, which is pretty nice. Then we have Beast Ponder. He is the signature card that we definitely want. He gets bigger every time something gets an upgrade in hand or the field. And generally, after the turn you play it, or even the turn you play it, it winds up being bigger than a Tusker. So Beast Ponder is usually going to be better there. Then we have Stoneforge Mystic. 2/3 for 3. Gives us a Mystic Weapon. It's one of the main cards, other than Vivien, that could give us an upgrade to give Strahd haste. More importantly, because we get to choose one of 3, we have a higher chance of getting haste, sneak, or even just a general power buff could sometimes be useful on different effects, like Crush the Wurms. Like getting +3/+2 would be insane on Crush. Gatstaf Agitators, 3/1 for 3. It's a bird, gives us a fragile mana crystal. Then if we have 2 mana at the end of turn, it flips and we get another mana crystal. So it's basically ramp 2 on turn 5 up to 7. So that's really good. Vivien's Arkbow, it's an artifact, 3 cost, 2 charges, and we give a creature a upgrade that we draft. So we could last ditch effort try to go for combo with it. We could just leave it and then try and go for something else. We could just use it to buff something to act as a good blocker. Overall, great card. Hermit of the Flock gives us some health gain on his flip, and 4 health on a 3 cost is pretty good, and mainly gives 2 blockers. Then we have Spearcrown Stag, 3/4 for 4, fights creature. It's green removal, and we don't really have slots to run non-green creatures, like different stuff that could do a similar job, like Mistraven. Daybreak Ranger, it's green removal, running for the same thing essentially. It also has reach. Cathar Charger is probably a card I will actually wind up replacing. It's a 4/3 for 5 with armor and gives a random creature in your hand haste. So in the off chance Strahd is your only creature in hand, when it attacks, you can give it haste guaranteed. Which is a very niche scenario. A lot of the times I've had the option to play it, but just didn't because there was a better tempo play. Or I had other creatures and I couldn't guarantee that Strahd would be the one getting the haste. We have Trostani. I've used all of these abilities. Sometimes you want more blockers. Sometimes you just will need the gem. And of course you can heal your stuff and gain 4 back, which is very useful. Prime Time gives a mana on attack and debut. Very strong card. Main reasons for trying to run green, and probably the strongest Titan, maybe next to Grave Titan. Primal Summoning, green card draw. Draw 4 cards. Next creature you play costs 0. Sometimes you get a 9-cost Strahd off of this, which is, of course, really good. And you potentially kill your opponent on a turn earlier than you normally would. We are not running Centaur Sages. We could probably throw a Centaur Sage in over the Cathar Charger, just have more card draw. And we might drop, like, I don't know, a Stag or a Hermit to run the second Centaur Sage. But then we'd have to change some of the lower drops to, like, Mysterious Cocoon or something to get more draw off of it if we wanted. Then we have 2 Crusher Wurms, big backup plan. You know, you 6/6 for 9, you summon 2 copies of it. In Vivien, they'll have all the upgrades, so you hit it off Animal Arrow, you get the upgrades on the copies, you get an upgrade off Vivien's ability, you get the upgrades in your copies. Like you saw in the video, I had Flying Wurms. And then, yeah, back to our big baddie, 10/10 for 10. Flying, sets both players' health to 10. Give him haste. Sometimes just give him sneak. Wait a turn, they don't deal with it, they lose. Of course, you know, you can try and do other stuff. If he gets ward, he can usually sit on for a turn before your opponent can actually deal with him. So with that, thank you for watching this video, and go ahead and try your own Strahd OTK deck and let me know how it plays for you. And like, comment, subscribe. Peace. Thanks again, everyone, for subscribing, and congratulations for me to hitting 1,000 subscribers. Now on to 10,000.